Now let's talk landmines, the deadliest keep out sign a country can leave behind. Now, for years, we know that Zelensky and Ukraine painted itself as an innocent party, the victim and the upholder of Western ideals. But that halo is now slipping. The anti personal mines have been central to the Ukraine war narrative. The Western officials have long accused Russia of flooding the battle zones, homes, forests, and even children toys with banned explosives. This is as per the Western claims and also UN's narrative. Mines like the seismic triggered POM3 have blown up just because someone walked nearby. They have been called out by the UN and Human Rights Watch. But yes, Russia of course denies it all. But now, here's the biggest twist of the story. Ukraine has now decided to join the club. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has signed off a decree on pulling the Ukraine out of the 1997 Ottawa Convention, the very treaty banning the gruesome devices. A treaty Kiev voluntarily signed back in 2005, and now suddenly it is inconvenient. Zelensky's justification? Well, wartime realities. And if you translate it, it is actually if Russia is doing it, we want it too. Although there is no credible evidence till now that Russia has been planting the landmines. And just like that, the same government that paraded human rights at every global summit has now done a full U turn, abandoning the international law and in the full process to downgrade its credibility. Now, this move couldn't have come up at a worse time. Why? Well, because Trump, yes, Donald Trump, is actually trying to bring both Russia and Ukraine on the same table. The idea is to broker a truce, wrapping this madness up and get Ukraine back on its feet without dragging the West into a prolonged proxy war. But instead, playing along, Zelensky is doing the opposite, ramping up tensions, militarizing morality, and gambling with regional stability. His MP Roman Kostenko says that this is about restoring Ukraine's right to self-defense. But let's be real. Ukraine's biggest strength is its image. The David to Russia's Goliath. That image is now cracking. Now, walking out of the landmine treaty is putting Ukraine into the same ethical boat as Russia, the very country it accuses of war crimes. Worse, it gives fuel to every critic who says Ukraine is just another corrupt, opportunistic actor playing the victim card for Western sympathy. But yes, let's not forget that the parliament still needs to approve the exit. But if it goes through, the implications are going to be global. Because next in line could be definitely the European Union. And then after the United States too. And maybe more and more countries will join the club. And eventually we'll be back to the very own times of the World War II. When the soldiers were dying ruthlessly due to these mines. So Zelensky is playing with fire. He's already lost support in sections of US and now he's angering disarmament advocates globally. And if the goal is to appear tough, there is a fine line between strategic realism and outright hypocrisy. So while Trump talks ceasefire, Zelensky is tossing mines into moral landscape, erasing any difference between the defender and the so-called aggressor. Not exactly the image Western liberals were hoping when they slapped his face on magazine covers and gave him standing ovations, isn't it? But yes, Ukraine's mine move is less about national defense and more about narrative collapse. It exposes a government that claims to fight for peace but is now actually embracing the death of Russian soldiers, the return of terror, and the timing, right as diplomacy flickers back to life, makes it look less like a strategy and more like a desperation wrapped in defiance.